something.
It was Donan's den.
It's like a personal thing. Oh my gosh. He's a nice guy.
I see that everything's ready for the road trip tomorrow morning out there.
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. I think they got a few things to move tonight, but yes, that time. This is that time of camp. We've been going a week, and it's that time where they're getting a little fatigued, so we want to make it a little tougher. And we do it for a lot of reasons. We're so blessed here, and always I think live modern, train old. Just a few days of training old, and just to hopefully continue to have that appreciation for what we have here. And it's just kind of a rite of passage for us in camp around here. So it's terrible. We all know that, and it's a quick turnaround. So we're right back on the field at 9:30 in the morning. So it's just a little different challenge these next couple days, and then we'll be in the valley tomorrow night with a walkthrough, and then right back Friday morning. So these next, between today and Friday, there's a lot going on, and hopefully we'll get the work done we need to get done. And Friday afternoon we'll take a little break. We'll go hang out at the lake, jump in the lake, and cool off, and be ready for a full scrimmage. We'll get our first live work tomorrow. It'll be first day in full pads, so we'll get a little. We've gotten a lot of the situations in. Tomorrow we'll get some short yardage and some goal line. We'll get a little 2-minute on Friday, and then on Saturday we'll touch on a bunch of different situations in the kicking game and situationally offensive defense. But caught a break today. It's been hot. And somehow we got lucky today, but got a good practice in, had a good competitive day. I think we had 10 periods of Clemson on Clemson, so that's a tough day's work. And held some of the veteran guys out today, some of those 6-year, 5th-year guys that have played 4 years already. And we're the one to expose and give some other guys some opportunities and let those guys coach a little bit today, and especially with a quick turnaround in the morning.
Dabo, what have you learned from the battles you've seen between receivers and corners?
You better show up every day. It's very competitive out here. I'm really excited about what I've seen out of Booth the last couple of days. He's really having a good camp, but it's just really competitive. I think Ngata has responded. I didn't really like how he started camp, but man, these last couple of days he's out here playing 224. Joe has been incredibly consistent. EJ and Bo bummed his shoulder up the first day, but he'll hopefully get him back first of next week. And so the guys that have been out there have been really competing. It's fun to watch the one-on-ones. It's a lot of fun because we've got some good experience at that position. And you take the guy like Dakari and Bo, who've been here since January, they're just a lot further along than the guy that just shows up. So really pleased with Frank. Frank has had an excellent camp, and Dakari, like I said, has made a bunch of progress. So it's a really good group. I mean, even the walk-on guys that we have, can play. I mean, those guys are experienced, and it's a crafty bunch. And then on the defensive side, man, it's a deep group. All those corners are getting better. Our technique is improved. Our positioning is a lot better. We're making a lot of plays on the ball. We got a lot of competitive plays, and that's what you want to see. So, and we got a lot of installation in. I mean, we're 5 days in. It's a lot of football that has been put in on these guys, and that's what we were just talking about, and it's going to continue to pile up. So, because we're building a foundation for the season right now. We're not getting ready for Georgia. We're building a foundation for the whole season, and so we've got a lot to do, but it's what you want to see at that position, both sides, from a competitive standpoint and just ability standpoint.
Is Bo kind of taking that next step, and do you feel like he has a chance to be that number one guy, that lockdown type guy?
In 5 days, he's taken that next step. And like I said earlier in camp, I mean, the only thing that's held Andrew Booth back is being available. That's it. I mean, everybody wants to see what do you want to see out of Booth. I just want to see him here. I just want to put my eyes on him in uniform. And if he's in uniform every day, he's ready. The rest take care of himself. He's a really good player, and that's he's just been consistently here, and he feels good, and so I'm really proud of him. He's got a good look in his eye.
How are those freshman quarterbacks coming along with the mental part of it, and where do you think Tyson is from a percentage standpoint, just being game ready?
I'm amazed at Will Taylor. I'm amazed at him and Billy Wiles, both of those guys, and just their ability to pick things up and being able to go out and function and process things like they're doing. They're getting a lot of reps. You know, Hunter obviously has been here a year, and he's got a very good grasp and a very good foundation to our system. And Hunter's way better than he was in the spring. I mean, he's just playing with a little more confidence. I thought he at times was a little overwhelmed in the spring because, you know, now all of a sudden he's in there with the ones and the twos and kind of mixing it up, and you know, had some highs and some lows, but he's been very consistent. And like I said, I think he's just in a good place mentally. But Will Taylor is special. I mean, he is special. I mean, we know what he is from an athletic standpoint, but man, this kid can play quarterback at a high level, and I mean, it's going to serve us well for a long time. And then Billy Wiles, to have a guy like that come in here as a walk-on, man, we're so fortunate and blessed because he's got a lot of ability. But again, how are they going to grab it early? And both of them have done an excellent job. So can't wait to see them, you know, once we put it all together and touch on all the situations and then kind of get off the field and see how they handle it.
And Tyson.
Yeah, I don't know a percentage, you know, but he's really good. He's doing everything except for the O versus D stuff. He's, you know, doing our team separate. He's doing all the one-on-ones, pass scale. I mean, he's doing a lot of stuff. So I've been pretty pleased with what he's been able to do. He's throwing the ball. He's confident. He feels good. So, you know, I think we're just trying to be smart with him and keep bringing him along.
You mentioned to Joe, he was talking yesterday about being up to 240 pounds at one point and, you know, maybe having to become a tight end and not wanting to do that. How much maturity do you see from him just to be able to get down to the weight he's at, to be able to perform the way he does?
Yeah, that's kind of what I told him. He was either going to be Terrell Owens or Shannon Sharp. You know, he's going to have to be one of the two. You know, and that's really, and I think he could be either one. I really do. I mean, what he didn't tell you is he was 240 and he was about 10% body fat. I mean, just a freak. Unbelievable. I mean, sign us all up for that, right? But he's, you know, but part of it was just him. You know, he comes from Canada. He's over in Clearwater, and then all of a sudden you get in this program and the food is good, and next thing you know, it's like, wow, what happened? He's never really trained like he's trained here, the lower body, and you know, he's putting on a bunch of muscle, and next thing you know, he's 238, and so he's just in great shape, and he's probably 5% body fat and lean and confident. He and Jalen Lay are two of the most improved players we have on offense, without question. Now, I need to see Jay Lay put his hat on somebody once we get some live work, but just fundamentally and all that stuff, easily. If you ask me who's two most improved guys I've seen on this offense, you know, all these guys have been good, but man, Jay Lay has really improved, and Joe, incredible where he is. He's going to help us in a big way.
Who's the most improved on defense?
Most improved on defense, you know, we've got so many veterans over there. I'd probably have to just say Rook. You know, I mean, even though he's just missed a lot of time, but he's a guy that if I had to pick one guy that I think's got a chance to have a great season, I would say Rook. I think he's ready. He's ready to be a guy, but. We just have a lot more veterans on that side that I know a lot more about. So I'm really, really pleased. You know, all those safeties have improved. And then, but Rook has made big strides up front for us, big strides.
Hey, Coach, with DJ announcing the Fansville collaboration, I'm just wondering what it's like as a coach, what your perspective on that is, or kind of what you think of it.
I don't think about anything. I just worry about practice. That's all on their time.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
What have you seen from some of those? What did you see from some of those younger players today with the older guys taking a step back? Who are some guys that kind of jumped off the page to you?
Watch the tape. We had some guys get exposed. It'd be an easier question to answer, but I'm not going to answer it. I'm not going. I knew you were going to say that, but I'm not going to answer it. that's why I did it, you know. I mean, again, Nolan Turner's played 2,200 snaps around here. You know, we got a lot of guys that played a lot of football. Skowski and Bockhorse and McFadden and Tyler Davis and you know, Balin and Skowski, and so this was a kind of a good vet day for them. And you know, I mean, I thought the backers went in there. I mean, we're very experienced at backers, and I thought they did a nice job. I mean, there's a couple guys in the offensive line that all of a sudden, you know, hey, here's your chance, and you know, like to see them. They had little big eyes. But it was fun. It was good. It was a good day, and that's how you get better. You know, the only way you can have the type of, if you have self-awareness, you can improve. If you don't have any self-awareness, you ain't gonna get no better. And so part of this is helping create the self-awareness by exposing them to what they got to do, what they know, what they don't know, and then as a competitor, and these guys are all competitors, they'll do what they got to do to improve.
There's obviously a lot of talent in each position group, but as you walk around, is there one position group that you kind of walk by it and just smile to yourself and go, yeah, okay, that's pretty good.
Line. I'll start right there. You know, we've been kind of growing up the last couple of years, and obviously last year was kind of a really, really young in 19, and then last year was kind of a crazy deal. But you know, to sit there and see Justin and Xavier and Miles and KJ and Maskell, you know, and then Swint, he'd probably be the other most improved, you know, especially because he moved to a new position. He's a great football player. So, I mean, then you throw in Reagan Upshaw, who's just a problem. I know we don't talk about Reagan Upshaw a lot, but that dude, man, if you line up on him and you ain't ready to practice, he's going to kill you. This guy is a really good, tough, hard-nosed football player. He's just got, you know, it's a very veteran group, so that defensive line is special.
Coach Venables was saying that he thought Justin Foster did a good job with his off-season conditioning. How close do you think he is physically to being where he needs to be?
He looks great. I mean, he's doing everything. You know, he had just had a little test that first day, so we held him just because he literally had something stuck down his throat. And but he's done everything and doing great. You know, we'll probably keep him on a little bit of a pitch count, but it's kind of easy to do that when you got 5 guys that have started there, you know, at that position, and then you got Swint. So we're in a good spot there. But he does everything, looks great. But you know, we don't need him to play 50 snaps. We don't need him to have to play 2 series in a row. I mean, we're very fortunate with the type of depth we have. But he's done great. He's done awesome.
What do you need to see out of those running backs from this point
Well,
forward?
first of all, we need to keep the ball, hand the ball to the ref. That's the number one thing. Had the ball put on the ground twice today, casual, guys coming from behind, knocking it. It's the guy you don't see. It's always the guy you don't see, you know? And so that's the number one thing is ball security. But the next thing is let's go play some live football and see who's going to run through the trash and who's going to create some space and make the big plays in the big moments. I mean, man, I love their toughness, and Maffa and Shipley are in a great place. Those kids have been here since January. They don't look like freshmen, you know, at all. And you know, all those guys have done a good job. But it's going to be a tough competition, and it's not like we're going to just play one guy. That could be a game by game, week by week type deal, just based on, you know, how it all shakes out. But they can all play.
Like could Shipley get in that competition to be the guy?
They're all in it. They're all in it. They're all in that competition. They're all in that competition. And you know, I mean, even Rencher, you know, he's been around here a while, but man, Rencher does a great job. I mean, I trust him. We put him in the game, he's productive. And so it's a from top to bottom, it's a really good group. But yeah, certainly. You know, those top guys, they got to all have an opportunity.
When you say you didn't love the way Ghana opened camp, what does that look like?
I just thought the ball was on the ground too much, and just didn't think he had the eye of the tiger early. But I let him know, and he responded like immediately, and he's been awesome since. You know, awesome. I mean, he's done a really good job.
Sorry.
Kind of a two-part question. Obviously, it's one thing to have players to go off and coach, but what does it mean to you to have players who want to come back here and coach? And then now, kind of looking at CJ, does that kind of make you feel good that he's here and on a different side?
Yeah, it's special. Absolutely. I mean, I've known him since he was 05 or something like that, and you know him just as this young kid, and now he's lived his dream and accomplished all of his goals and got his college degree and gone off and lived a life, and then he wants to come back, and he's passionate about what he's doing now. And to see him last year spend the whole year just kind of grinding and learning, I think we've got 22 former players on the staff. I think that's what our number is right now, in all different roles, and I love that. A bunch of them I coached, from Tony Elliott to CJ to Grisham, you name it. In fact, I've got a picture in my office of my very first win was at Boston College in 08. And, it's me and CJ and Grisham. And now Grisham's the receiver coach and Spiller's the running back coach. And that's just awesome because I'm not here if it's not for those guys. And they help build this place. And they're so invested. And so I love the perspective that they bring, and they're passionate about Clemson, and they're passionate about the philosophy of our program. So it's great, you sit there and you see Thomas Austin, who was a captain for me, Taj Boyd, who was a captain for me, DeAndre McDaniel, Rashard Hall, Miguel Chavis, you got all these guys, Cole Stout. It's a special group all across the board, and a blessing to be able to watch them grow and see them put the work in it each and every day.
McFadden was telling us the other day that he already considered Will Shipley a team leader, and you've had guys like Deshaun and Trevor come in, but for a non-quarterback to come in and be a leader that quickly as a freshman, how unusual is that?
Yeah, it's not the norm, that's for sure. His level of maturity is rare for a young guy. He's not sitting around waiting on anybody, he's not a blend in the pack kind of guy. Sometimes you see freshmen, they come in and it's like, well, I better not win all these sprints because the older guys are he don't care what they think. He's going to run at one speed, and if you can't keep up, too bad. And he's just but he's like that in everything he does. Makes a 4.0, and Moffat's the same way. I mean, he's the same way. Those two kids are incredible. They're roommates. They're incredibly mature young people. And we've got a bunch of those guys in last year's class and this year's class that I think have that type of maturity to them. Trotter's another guy, that's got a level of, Barrett's another guy. They just got this level of maturity to them. They're just not overwhelmed. And it's great when you get guys like that don't, you don't have to wait to be a senior to be a leader. You don't have to wait to be a senior to be committed and work your tail off every day to be the best version of you.
What's your take on Lincoln?
He's getting better, that's a really good group. Those four guys, Tristan's got some work to do. He's not in great. He's got some work to do from a physical standpoint, getting in shape and fundamentals and learning a lot. But he hadn't been here since January. But Linthicum's been here, and Marcus has been here, and they look like it. They've had a whole off season, and just the physical part. Tristan's obviously got all the tools, but he's not in the type of shape he needs to be in, and physically, he's got to get stronger, and it's good to see him, learn those things and what he's got to do to get better, because he's got all the tools. But I'm proud of Ryan. I mean, he's making some strides. Again, he's got a ways to go, but he's going to be a good one. And then Dietrich is just he's not the norm. I mean, he's 338 pounds, and heck, he ain't got no fat on him. And he's one of the strongest guys already. This guy's powerful. So physically, he's in a really good place, and I'm pretty pleased with him mentally. He's really, he has some little moments here and there, but he's for a guy that just got here, he's picking it up pretty good.
As far as the center battle, is there any separation there at this point?
Not really. I mean, we're just kind of, again, just repping them all, and eventually we'll have to hone in on what it's going to look like, but we're just trying to create different competition all over and giving all those guys opportunities to compete.
Anybody else?
The freshman coming in this class maybe wasn't all necessarily all these 5 stars, all that kind of stuff like some of them. Any of these guys surprise you, or did you know that this was about what these guys were going to look like when they got here?
Yeah, they're about what I thought. I mean, that's why we recruited them. I mean, this is, what did we sign? 18 maybe? Is that what it was? This class, 18 guys. We haven't had many 25-person classes since I've been the head coach, but no, man, we hit it on all these guys, and some of these walk-ons too are great, man. I mean, like I said, you throw Billy Wiles in there. That's a great kidding me. Kid walked on at Clemson. That's crazy. I mean, he's a Division I guy for sure. He turned down Tulane and some other schools. He's a good player, good young prospect. And same thing, he's getting butt in weight room and all that stuff, and go through the process. But no, they're exactly what I thought they'd be. I'm not disappointed in any of them. I mean, it's a great group. Last year's class and this year's class, I think it's going to be really, really special for Clemson over the next 4, 5, 6 years.
Just to expound on Will Taylor, can you run the same offense with him? Can you get the ball vertical down the field?
Will Taylor can do anything. He can do anything. I called him Doug Flutie the other day. I would imagine that's what Doug Flutie looked like. You don't know who Doug Flutie is, but I would imagine that's what Doug Flutie looked like. Just electric. He makes all these throws from all these crazy arm angles. You're like, how in the world can he even see that guy? But he sees them all and gets the ball off. I mean, and I'm sure that's what people said about Doug Flutie back in the day. He's a special dude. And just got ice water in his veins. We got us a good one right there.
Do you look at him at returning punts at all, or is that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah. He'll be and he's a natural. He plays center field, knows how to get behind the ball, knows how to see it off the foot. Understands elements of the game. I mean, it's just easy coaching him. It's so easy. But he's a very natural guy. So yeah, you'll definitely see him returning some punts this year. I'm very pleased with him, and again, I love the plan we have for him, and we'll go from there. But he's a guy he's got a bright future around here. I can't wait to watch him in the fall and go get some popcorn and watch him in the spring too. He's special. He's special.
Is that the plan still to finish him out at wide out?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Eventually he'll move, but he's going to play some quarterback in his day here. Regardless, even when we move him, he'll bring some things to the table that are unique. As we go through his career, biggest thing is just again getting the foundation of because we've got a lot of depth and things. We need the foundation of this offense as how a quarterback thinks, and it's natural for him. This is not a hard progression for him. This is what he's been doing. So if we can really get that in place, and then this crazy world we live in, we get in a bind 2 years from now or something. I'm not starting from scratch with a guy like Hunter Renfrow, who's in there trying to be the third quarterback. And he ran the option. Yeah, I played quarterback. He ran the option, and he knows the offense, but he knows it from a receiver perspective. And so that's the whole goal, is to kind of have a ace of spades in the back pocket at all times, because you just never know. Somebody can leave, or somebody gets hurt, whatever. Because once he gets it, he's not going to lose that, and then he's going to be awesome. Wherever we put him, he's going to be awesome.
Any receiver this year? Awesome.
Well, I mean, anything can happen at any time. We got some great depth. Yeah, we don't even have Ross out here, and Bo's out, and Lotto's out. He had 1 day of practice, but we've got good depth there. So, I mean, if we had to have him or something, it's really more of a need to have him at quarterback and ready to go win the game for us, game plan wise and those type of things. So, but we, like I said, we can use him in the return game and skill set in different ways. So.
Is Ross still back on Friday?
Yeah, get back Friday, just in time to go to the lake. How about that?
That's the way you do it.
Time that up right. So he's doing great. He's doing good. But we'll get him back sooner than later.
All right.
It's been the positive of that is we've been able to have EJ train all week. Because we're cross training Bo and EJ, so to be able to get EJ all that work all week, that actually is a silver lining. Because EJ and Frank been battling out there too, and Frank's been awesome, and great to see him respond and give EJ all that work. And then when Ross gets back, we'll probably switch it and let Bo get in there with Ross, and then EJ go back out there with Frank and cross train them. We just got so much more versatility, at receiver than we had last year. So I'm really excited about that. So hopefully we can stay healthy and be what I know we can be.